and check that out.
Yeah,
guys.
you do actually.
Seriously.
Yeah. See how Stephanie looked at me. In other words, baby, what?
What?
No, joking. Guys, no, get her out. But funny enough, she actually used the word I was going to use. I was going to say intentional. Yeah, I was going to say intentional. I know it's a word that, like, Christians love to say, but it's true. Like, we actually want a guy that's intentional, that a guy that's saying, like, I like you and I'm going to pursue you. Like, I want us to be X, Y, Z, or I don't want us to be X, Y, Z. Just be intentional about it, you know? Like, okay, what are your intentions for talking to me? You know, what are your intentions for taking me out? Like, what are your intentions for us getting to know each other? What are your intentions for me meeting your mum and dad? Because am I meeting your mum and dad just to meet them, or am I meeting them because you're seeing something further down the line?
Right.
And do you know what?
Areas.
And I feel as if, like, I think a lot of guys they're not intentional because they feel as if, like, well, I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I think the confusion with intentionality with certainty. Nothing is certain. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you talk to somebody today, you don't know if you're going to get married to them. You might even like them in a month. However, the intention is that I want to get to know you so then I can make a decision. Just be intentional. And I don't know why people are afraid of being intentional. You're intentional about the job that you wanted. You need...
And this time we have a lady with us because last time, well, actually, if you watched our last video, you would know, right?
Right.
What
about Daniel and his mischief?
Yes, Daniel and his mischief. But we are here today joined by the lovely
Zabable. Hi, guys. So a little bit about me. I am an investment writer by day and an artist by night. So a little bit of a shameless plug if anybody wants to go and check me out on Instagram. I'm Z the artist. So if you're interested in art or how it's done, if you want to buy any prints, holler at your girl.
That's it. Lovely. Good. So today we're going to be talking about relationships, love. It's a bit of a chit chat, right? Everything all encompassed. So I guess I'll just ask the question, ladies. What do Christian women want in a guy? It's for all of us, not just for one person. Like, what do we actually want? If you can name one thing, maybe two if you want.
Honest?
Yeah. Honest.
I mean, I'm saying
Okay.
An honest, down-to-earth, funny guy. Oh, that's 3.
Oh, already 3.
The list
one.
is long. The list is long.
Okay, but let's narrow it down, right? Just give us one for now.
God-fearing.
Can you explain that, or it's a bit self-explanatory?
It's a bit I think when you're God-fearing, it encompasses everything. So not only are you going to be, seeking after God's heart, you know that God's heart is for you to love your wife unconditionally. So yeah, it's just like a full package. But I have to add funny because that's not part of God's criteria. And he has to be funny.
No, that is true.
Okay.
That is really, really true. Oh, for me, do you know what? I've got a few, but I'll definitely say somebody that just wants me. Just wants me. There's this thing about, multiple dating, fishing around, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of fishes in the sea, as people like to go and say, but come on, like, be intentional. And I think that's one of my words, intentional. A guy which is intentional. Instead of you doing this whole if and I, like, what are we doing? You're talking to each other for weeks, but nobody knows if we like each other or not. Yeah. We're even going on dates, but when you ask them the question, like, do you like me? Do you want something? They're like, oh no, we're just friends. No, we're not friends. We're spending way too much time on the phone to be just friends. I need you to be intentional in what you're doing with me.
That's our circle word, by the way. Being intentional. We had a whole series.
Yeah.
on
Oh really?
Yeah,
I need to go and check that out.
Yeah,
guys.
you do actually.
Seriously.
See how Stephanie looked at me? In other words, baby, what?
What?
No, joking.
Guys, no, get her out.
But funny enough, she actually used the word I was going to use. I was going to say intentional. Yeah, I was going to say intentional. I know it's a word that, like, Christians love to say, but it's true. Like, we actually want a guy that's intentional, that a guy that's saying, like, I like you and I'm gonna pursue you. Like, I want us to be X, Y, Z, or I don't want us to be X, Y, Z. Just be intentional about it, you know? Like, okay, what are your intentions for talking to me? You know, what are your intentions for taking me out? Like, what are your intentions for us getting to know each other? What are your intentions for me meeting your mum and dad? Because am I meeting your mum and dad just to meet them, or am I meeting them because you're seeing something further down the line?
Right.
And do you know what?
Areas.
And I feel as if, like, I think a lot of guys they're not intentional because they feel as if, well, I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I think the confusion with intentionality with certainty. Nothing is certain. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you talk to somebody today, you don't know if you're going to get married to them. You might even like them in a month. However, the intention is that I want to get to know you so then I can make a decision. Just be intentional. And I don't know why people are afraid of being intentional. You're intentional about the job that you wanted. You knew that you wanted to go and be a director. You knew that you wanted to be making, you know, whatever money in 3 years' time. You knew that you wanted to go and work that particular sector, and you was intentional about searching for those jobs in LinkedIn. I'm sure that you can be intentional about, this is what I want within a partner.
Because there's like a fear of commitment. So when you're intentional, you're now saying that there is no one else. I'm now looking just at you, but I think they do want to look at
be able to look elsewhere.
Yeah, so there's that fear of, you know, being now caged because, you know, truth be told, as women, we're emotional beings. So the minute he makes his intentions clear, like, oh yeah, I want us to pursue, you thinking that we're exclusive, so you shouldn't be talking to other guys or other women, you know. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why there's like that fishing around of like, oh, you know, are we not? There's no clarity.
But it is very dangerous because I feel as if that's how a lot of women get heartbroken. But then I also feel as if that's how a lot of men also become heartbroken too.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think a lot of people think, oh, only girls get heartbroken. But I know men who have been heartbroken because there wasn't no intentionality or there was no communication of like, I really like this girl, but I don't know how she feels. But there was no communication, and so they both went their separate ways. However, they both liked each other, but nobody was talking. And it's just like, and obviously, I understand that you can go and fish around. You can obviously talk to other people, but I think coming from a woman, I'm a woman. Like, I feel as if like also women have to understand that until the guy says this is just me and you, calm down, calm down.
So the role is for the man to define it. Do you think?
I think the role is for. I think it's the man should. I think it's actually both. I think women have not been taught to be outspoken about what they want. Like, if you guys are talking a lot and you feel as if you're catching feelings or you're starting to grow and you're attracting to him, I think it's right for you to go and say to, you know, bring it up and say, hey, like, I feel as if that something has changed. I like you in a way which I didn't like you in the beginning. What are we? But we're not taught to do that because, again, like you're eager or, you know, you're showing too much interest. You know, all of these Hollywood movies tell us the women should just wait, but that's fake. Hollywood is not real for us. You have to be, I think women have to be outspoken about what they want and what they're seeking as well, so then they know where, you know, where they're at as well.
Yeah.
So
that's very true, you know.
That's like that's the in an ideal world. But obviously that's not what's happening now. So is that why
that we're in now?
There are a lot of single girls in the church then, because it's like the girls are they're not bold enough, or there is that whole thing of, I'm a lady, so I have to wait for him to approach me. Can a girl just walk up to, listen, you know, Brother John, what are you saying?
I don't know.
I
don't think that women should go up to Brother John and start saying, excuse me, I like you. Yeah. However, I do feel as if like women can pursue in a way in terms of positioning herself, and, you know, like if he's going somewhere or there's a group setting, be like, include yourself, go there as well. Or if you know that he likes a particular subject, like, oh, you know what, I like poetry and I know that you like poetry.
Do you know what I just thought of? Sorry. You know, like in the Bible where it says, Lord hasn't given us the spirit of timidity but of boldness. So where does that come into it then? 'Cause why can't you just go to Brother John and just be bold and say, listen, I like you,
the fear
you
of
know.
Rejection.
The fear of rejection. But I also believe
so,
that
for me it is. I mean,
but I think that men are hunters, and if they like you and they've been watching you, they will show you. So if they haven't come towards you, They're not hunting for
so you don't need to go and be bold and now say, oh, John, like, hey, how you doing? Like, let's.
I'm gonna be the one that's throwing the spanner in the works here,
Yeah,
because
like you are,
I feel like I'm talking for Brother John out there. There is a Brother John out there who is just literally thinking, this girl is like, she's way prettier than, you know, everyone. I don't have the confidence to talk to her. She's so bold. She's charismatic. She's this. Like, she's gonna. How do I even say hi to her? And he's just there, like, you know, being that, you know, fearful worker, working sound, mic, this one, that one.
Okay.
All hoping that.
Are you asking what's the advice for Brother John that we should be saying?
That's basically what
Brother John, if you are out there, I would say, if she's serving at the church, join her team. Seriously, if you want to get close to somebody, join the person's team, because then by force, you guys will have to get to know each other. Yeah. You guys will have to work closer together, and then she will able to recognize your personality, get to know, you know, what you like, and obviously you guys can see if you guys can actually gel together. That is the perfect way. And if not, talk to one of her friends. Be like, hey, like, I like so and so. And if that friend is a nice friend and also wants to see her friend get married, they should arrange a coffee date. All 6 of us are going out together. I'm inviting you. I'm inviting you.
Yeah.
Make them sit in the corner.
That's true.
Has that worked for you guys?
I was just gonna say, sorry, no. I was actually gonna say, right, John should also just go and talk to her. I mean, you don't always have to start off everything like a conversation like, oh, like, I really like you. Just normal conversation, like, oh, how are you? What did you think about today's sermon? You know, just normal stuff. I feel like we don't have to think about it too much, you know. Sometimes just go with the flow. Like, you never know, the Holy Spirit may even lead you to say something that is so deep. She'll be looking at you like, wow. You never know. Like, it's possible. Wow. Yeah, it may be cheesy to some, but it's possible, okay? So, yeah. You asked, has it happened to some of us? Nah.
It depends. What do you mean? That somebody joined my team, or somebody tried to set me up, or which part?
A bit of both. Like, so how have you experienced dating, you know,
in our generation?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think
I'll let her answer that first.
I think it depends. Okay, for a long time I was just doing the whole I like you, you like me. There's an but no one's speaking about it, and we'll just pretend that maybe we'll just read each other's minds, and we'll just be in sync.
Yeah.
And because again, I was taught that you shouldn't be that person that goes and be bold or say or let him know that, you know, that you obviously wanted to go a certain way, or obviously express your interest. And so I was waiting for this guy, like, is this guy gonna catch on that I'm really feeling it? And then I'm like, I'm talking to God about him, I'm even praying for him, and wait, you know, that he gets a job, and he's like, not catching it, and we're just growing feelings, and then
that was tough,
you know. And so that's been my experience, my previous experience. However, now I realize that ain't working for me. Like, that is not working for me. I have to show interest. I have to talk. I have to bring up the conversation, the difficult conversation of like, what are we? Like, what are we? Do you like me? I like you. What are we doing? You know.
Steffi?
Yeah, I think that's the same as well, you know, funnily enough. Now, as you were saying it, I was thinking about it. It's actually kind of the same, like, just, I guess, that fear of saying it up front, like, oh, like, what are we? Or asking questions, you know. Sometimes as a woman, you kind of feel like, no, I don't want to ask because I don't want to be nagging, or I don't want to seem too eager. And sometimes it's just like, you know what? If the person's someone that you genuinely like and genuinely see something happening with in the future, just ask.
We are losing,
honestly,
we are losing years.
Yeah, because
by not asking.
Oh,
we are losing years.
I was gonna say because we're losing out, but I mean, yeah, we're losing years too.
And that's why sometimes boldness is...
Yeah. Do you know what? I think you need to read the room, as people would say, like, read the situation. Like, does it require boldness? I think that's what it is. Because sometimes you can be bold and fall flat on your face because you were not supposed to be bold at that time, right?
Boldness comes with wisdom. You know, you're not just going to walk up to, you know, someone and just be like, I like you. But obviously, if you've been serving, I say serving, but you've been in the ministry for a year, you know people's names. You know that guy's name. Yeah. You guys say hi or whatever. There's nothing wrong with, you don't have to say, oh, I like you, but like you said, you know, what do you do during the weekends? You know, it's just that that interest, and taking the first step doesn't have to be, will you go out with me?
Yeah.
It can literally just be, I took the first step to say hi to you first, you know, to just make myself known.
That's a good one, actually.
You know, I think when we hear, approaching a guy, we're just thinking straight marriage.
Yeah.
You know, we're not actually thinking that this all starts from, where do you work? Oh, I'm sure you live around my area, you know. Something as simple as that. You've taken the first step, and automatically who wasn't noticed before, because to be honest, if you are in a ministry that's quite large, you probably weren't noticed. True. Not because you're not beautiful or anything, but because his mind is elsewhere, especially if he's serving, you know. So I think one of the reasons, I think one of the reasons, but obviously prior to getting married, one of the issues was more the confidence to actually just strike up conversation, you know. But I feel like a lot of women are losing out because
they're not doing that,
or because they see striking conversation as, you know, practically asking or begging. Okay. When it's not.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true.
True.
I used to think that way, but I've learned that striking conversation with someone is not moving to them. They are two completely different things. Because at the end of the day, it's just like me having a conversation with you, or like even having a conversation with a new woman who's joined the church, or even a new woman who's joined our social circle or setting, you know. It's just me being normal, like having a normal conversation, taking interest. Yeah, literally.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's true.
Do you know, do you remember when Daniel was saying that he has this friend?
Oh yeah.
He has this friend that needs to be interviewed because this friend is wild. The guy was basically saying that Proverbs 31 woman, that if he found
listen to this,
a woman in church that was a fraction of the Proverbs 31 woman, he would be happy. And so that's a fraction. Wow. So that's why they go outside, so they don't look for girls within the church anymore. So do you feel like, you know, guys within the church are looking for girls outside, not within the church anymore, basically, because, I don't know, there's no difference with a girl in the church and the girl outside. Girls in the church are, you know, wild or carefree, nagging. Yeah, he kept saying nagging. He kept saying that they want peace. Listen, that's why I said that Daniel was a troublemaker. I'm sorry.
Basically, they're not delivering that peace that, you know, a guy would want from a woman.
So Christian women nag.
So that's what you mean. Obviously, going outside the church, going outside of the Christian faith.
Yeah. Or
if you're talking about nagging, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel as if some women, Christian women, are a little bit nagging. Like, no, seriously.
Did you see my face?
Like, no, because I'm not trying to say that. Okay, I'm only taking myself as an example.
Right.
Okay. A couple of years ago, when I was growing, like, I just obviously got into the faith. I never really met or interacted with Christian men, and I felt as if like I was holy as thou. Like, if you was a Christian, then you had to. I don't know, your Jesus's niece or sort of thing. So if I met a guy, like, I would literally be like, do you pray? How many times? You know, like, do you fast? How long do you fast for? I hope that you dry fast. Not with water.
Say it like that though?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I had issues. Seriously, I'd be like,
wow.
I hope you're dry fasting too, because water fast, they ain't real fast. Do you get what I mean? Because
so people, I didn't have to do that like that.
I'm sorry, and like, so if I'm taking myself an example of who I was a couple of years ago. And I've met a lot of, then I'll be like, yeah, a lot of Christian women are, and nag. But I feel as if, like, if they do behave like that, it's because that they are confusing being God saving your soul as opposed to God wanting to save your personality. I feel as if, like, they're trying to deny who they are in reality. Like, oh my gosh, God saved my soul. That must mean that maybe He's trying to save my personality and my likes and my dislikes, and so I have to be this religious person that, you know, does this everything correct, fast, pray, don't listen to secular music, all of that stuff. And so then you project that to somebody else, and that's what they get. But if you're comfortable in who you are, then you know that you're also flawed, that you don't get everything right, and so you're going to project that ease and that grace to somebody else. And now
it's like a competition of holiness. Yes,
a competition of holiness, because you're thinking, oh, well, like, if I do this correctly, then I'm better than you, sort of thing. Where I'm at in my faith walk, and obviously going into maturity, I realized, oh my gosh, like, can you pray for me, brother, sister? Like, you know, or can we read the Bible together? Like, do you know what? Like, it's okay, grace for you. And now I feel as if, like, even when I meet people, I'm coming from I want to understand you, as opposed to I'm trying to impose and show you how great I am. And I see that a lot within the Christian church now. And I'm just like, I speak to some men, I speak to some women, I'm just like, don't talk to me. I'm like, you're doing too much.
Wow.
Oh wow.
You know, so if it's if it's coming from a place of like that, then I understand. However, he can't say that he's gone to every single church, and he can't say that he's met every single woman. Do you understand what I mean? Because I know amazing women who are sold out for Jesus. However, they're sold out on grace. And they're not nagging, and they know who they are now in Christ, and they project that.
Exactly.
You know?
So we need to get that guy here, because we have to have a few words with him.
I'm just gonna have to be like, I'll literally be handcuffed, duct tape on my mouth, and just be blinking. Cause, you know.
And it will just be hearing everything that he has to say. Honestly, we need to get him. So okay, so back to like what Christian women want, right? Are we actually getting what we want? That was what I wanted to ask. Are we actually getting what we want? So the honesty, the intentionality, the wanting me for me. Like, are we actually seeing that in the guys that are approaching us, or the guys that we're dating, the guys that we're interacting with? I personally don't think so.
It's a bit of a weird one. I think, from my personal experience, I'm meeting a mixture of guys. Like, God has been so faithful that I've met men who are absolutely amazing. Like, they are intentional, they're great. However, there's also no chemistry. And although we like to go and tell everybody, oh, look at the hat, you know, everybody wants to go and throw Samuel around, you know, men look at appearances and God looks at the hat.
Heart.
Like, not everything is to do with the heart. At the end of the day, you're not going to be praying for 5 hours or hours throughout the day. You're going to have to actually look at that person. You're going to have to actually have same values and same morals. I think that just being a Christian isn't good enough. And don't get me wrong, obviously you should never look for somebody who isn't a Christian. However, we're forgetting that not every Christian person is your person. You also have to be compatible in terms of communicating values, maybe mission, you know, purpose.
Destiny. There's a long list.
You know, was it, I don't know, even hobbies and interests. People are forgetting that. And so I've met people who are great. However, when it comes to push comes to shove, we don't really talk much on a date, and it's just like, okay, then I was just like, I love the fact that you serve in 7 of your church ministry, 7. However, we don't have anything to talk about
There's
right now.
nothing in common.
There's nothing in common. But then I've gone into the other way, where I've met same Christian guys who don't have Christian values and morals, such as
those ones are
you
the
know,
worst.
Would you call them Christian?
No,
guys?
they're the ones that say that they're
okay.
Christians. Like, if they had to fill out a form now, something like that, right? That they would say, they would identify as a Christian. Yeah, they would check Christian, but then really and truly, like, they're not. Like, they'll probably say they're not practicing Christians or something, or you know, they'll just say, okay, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I believe X, Y, and Z. You know, like, for example, I believe in having sex before marriage. Like, they would say that, but then they're Christian. So it's a bit like,
I've met wild ones. One even told me that I can show you in the Bible where I can prove to you why you can have sex before marriage. I said, wait, wappa. I was so confused. I was just like,
he said what?
I was like, I want you to show me these scriptures. I was like, please.
Was he joking?
No, he wasn't joking. He said it quite a few times, that I can show you where in the Bible, which says that you can have sex before marriage. And I said, really? He sold out. So true. So I've met a mixture of people. You know, I intentionally search for, just obviously look out for Christian men. So I haven't gone on dates with anybody who isn't a believer, who isn't a Christian. However, they vary in their walk, where their relationships with God, their intimacy, and that's the issue. But we were having this conversation in the car, and I feel as if, although we throw around the scripture of 2 Samuel, when, you know, God looks at the heart but man looks at the appearance, I feel as if sometimes we do meet men who you are compatible. You laugh, you joke, you have the same similar morals and values. There's an intimacy, there's a fear there of getting to know, there's butterflies. However, he's not packaged the way that you thought it should be packaged, and then you say, God, I'm sorry, no thank you, and then it's just like, are we really not getting what we want, or like, are we getting what we need but not what we want? And I think
that's a deep question, though.
That's a deep question I'm also considering that. It's just like, oh, you know, I might need to reconsider how I see this. It's just like, because some people, I think I'm one of those people that I'm a Disney person, and I love rom-coms. So I believe in the whole like love at first sight. We met each other and we just knew. And so when I meet somebody, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm not attracted to you. And then it's just like, but some people, they're slow burners as you get to know them, and you're just like, wow, I've just discovered a gem. He's not what I wanted. You know, he's just not what I wanted him to look like, though. Yeah. Like I wanted my Tyson Beck, you know, something like that. Do you know what I mean?
But
let me just throw in,
that's so crazy, because do you know how many of my friends I have spoken to about that whole need versus want thing? And I feel that not that you know, some of them have married the wrong people, but genuinely I do think that I would not pair some people together purely because you went for a want as opposed to what you needed, and God gives you what you need because he's looking 10 years down the line, 50 years, you know, 100 years, do you understand? But you're looking at the physical only, and there is so much more than the physical or the job. What happens when, you know, the looks fade, and let's say something happened, God forbid, and you're not able to make that sort of money anymore? Then what? Are you happy? Are you ready to be the provider? Are you ready to now forego your name brands and the blah blahs?
And that's a tough question.
Very tough
question.
Actually, now, okay, because you said that, right? Let's see it this way now. If, for example, the roles were to reverse in a relationship, and the woman was now the provider, how would you guys feel about that? Like, if you're married to someone and then it's like, because, you know, in our generation, right, people believe that providing is mainly a financial thing, isn't it? That, you know, he can't provide for me, he can provide, you know, we've all heard those things, right? So let's say now you're in a marriage and the roles have reversed, and it's like the woman now is the one that seems to be providing the most. How would you guys feel about that? Would you guys be okay with it? Like, is it weird? Is it good? Is it, what are your thoughts?
Do you want to go ahead, or should I go ahead?
Yeah, I think no one shoe fits everyone.
Okay.
You have to know what works for you, and you know, you have to remember that as a woman, the man is the head of the household. So if he's making £20,000 a year and you're making 100, you have to go on like you're not making 100, because you're not now his. You know, you're not gonna lord that over him, because at the end of the day, he's still the one that will say, no, don't do this. Yes, don't do that. You know, so if you're looking at it as like you were saying, provision is just finances, then you are seeing just like a small percentage of what provision is. Provision is so much bigger than that, like, you know. So yeah, I think that it's not what works for me will not work for you. For you, it might be completely different, but we can't all wear that shoe of a husband has to earn 50k, 100k, and that's it. Done, signed, sealed, delivered. Because then there would be all the guys would be out there single by himself, because everyone's, you know, sitting there waiting like, what do you earn, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not yet.
I don't earn that amount, so we can't make it. Yeah. That's true, you know. That's, I think, is what it, to be honest, it puts a lot of pressure on men. So I personally feel like it's not something that someone should, I feel like you shouldn't say it unless you can do it yourself, sort of thing. Like, you shouldn't say that, okay, you know what, he should be the one to provide financially and earn this amount, unless you can do that yourself, because at the end of the day, it's putting some sort of pressure on him whereby he has to fulfill this sort of financial provision sort of thing. I don't know, because a man doesn't only provide financially. There are so many ways. Security, you know, emotionally, there are different ways. So it's not just about finances to me. So I feel like if the role reversal was to happen, our relationship is not based on who can do what sort of thing. It's based on a lot more than that. It's based on the love, the respect that we have for each other. So if that does happen, we have to find a way to work through it. It's not now because I'm earning more, so I'm going to lord it over you, like you were saying, or I'm going to look down on you. No, because if you're not providing financially, there are many other ways that you can provide. It's now if you're not even providing in any of those ways that there's an issue.
Yeah. I think it's I think that I wouldn't have an issue with it at all if I was making more money than my partner. I think that's a conversation that obviously people will have even in the dating phase. Of like how much money they make, how they handle their money, what they want to do with their money, how they want to go and spend their future. I feel as if like you're gonna understand how that person interacts with money quite early on. However, I do feel as if, because especially within the black community, we get taught that, men get taught that it's money, and that's what makes you a man, as opposed to them being taught that what makes you a man is being nurturing, being kind, teaching your woman what forgiveness looks like. A lot of women have been hurt. Maybe I should go and teach my woman, this is what forgiveness, you hurt me, I'm going to forgive you, and I'm going to show you what, love, like, the love of Christ looks like. I'm going to wash over you. I'm going to make her feel secure. I'm going to make her feel comfortable. And that is what a man is, because if you're the head of the household, if you think of it, is just like, I think of a company, a business, that you've got your manager, you've got the employees. The employees are only as good as what the manager teaches them. Do you understand what I mean? If my manager has a good work ethic, or he does certain processes, or does things a certain way, that your employees are going to adapt that same structure. And so if you're man of the household, you're not only just providing money, you're providing a whole system of love, of kindness, of care, of respect. And so if you teach men of that, that's what makes a man. I think a lot of people will not even really focus on finances. Not to say that if you're a man, you need to be
able to provide.
You need to be able to provide. Let's just be real, sort of thing.
Yeah.
However, they wouldn't be solely basing the identity on finance, as opposed to who they are inside and building that character up.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? But I also feel as if like also women come and they say, do you know what? Are you making this figure? You're making that figure? And it's just like, chill. At the end of the day, no one stays. Well, some people do, but it's unlikely that someone's going to stay in the same salary for the whole duration of you being married to them, or even knowing them. We've all gone from who was 16 and worked, and you got paid £6 an hour. Are you making £6 an hour now?
No,
you're not making £6 an hour. Do you get what I mean? So you've gone up the rank, and so you need to understand that if you have a conversation with somebody, find out what the person's vision is as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously make the decision
from there.
From there.
Yeah. And I would also say that there are so many women out there who don't understand how much of an influence their words have on the man. So you can make your man feel like he is $1 million when he probably doesn't even have a job at that time, and therefore you've lifted him up and he is walking strong and tall, but he can be earning, £2 less than you, and a woman would literally just kill him. Because we understand that men don't, the way they understand love is through respect. If you respect me, you love me, but women, we are the other way around. We are affection. Well, most women.
Yeah. Why did you pause there?
That's another story and another day. Yeah. We are, affectionate, and Stephanie.
I didn't even do anything. We're listening. Are we not listening? So we're listening. Carry on.
Anyway, so yeah, I'll tell you the story.
I want to be in.
Some people have this idea that I'm not very affectionate or very romantic. I don't know where they get it from.
Did anyone even say that?
I don't know, but so I'm throwing it out there that, I am like super rom-com, and I love it.
I never said anything.
Yeah, but that's a typical female. It's just like, rom-com. Not every female likes rom-com.
No, I don't. I really don't.
I'm a
just
rom-com for that. But
let's get out there.
Killing what? Is that you, Shay?
But anyway, so yeah, with our words we can kill our husbands or our partners, and make them really just chop them up. So they're not able to establish a foundation of I'm the head, because they're already afraid of the woman that has just turned into this powerhouse. And I think for us as women, we have to understand that the success of relationships, of course, it goes both ways, but we are very powerful. We really are so powerful. I feel like that's why even in the Bible, like, it likens a lot of things to women.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the female form, we are more powerful than we understand.
Okay.
And we can literally make or break our partners, and you know, before you know it, you're now complaining, oh, he doesn't do this, but how many times do you actually just say, do you know what, it's okay, it's okay, I've got it, you're fine. Well, or just remind him that, you know, well, you know, you said, you know, you're on the phone to your friends whispering like, oh, you guys can go, not that lazy man inside the room. You see, I mean, Nollywood is the worst for all of that.
I was gonna say, but that's something that actually does happen, regularly, like in marriages, in relationships. So, like, how are we supposed to combat that then?
But then, do you know what? Maybe I'm digressing. I don't know if I'm not really answering the question, but I feel as if that's why God, because even in my single season, I feel as if like God is putting me through so many tests and trials, because then I guess if I was to come into a relationship and my partner was to lose their job, I know what it feels like to lose a job. You know, I know what it feels like to you know, constantly apply for work and getting a no.
Right.
You know, even a simple cleaning job, they will even refuse me. Do you get what I mean? Because if God doesn't want to open that door, he doesn't want to open the door.
He doesn't want to.
Do you get what I mean? So it doesn't really matter what you
That's
do.
deep.
You know, or like, how did I manage to, you know, feed myself with, you know, being on, you know, job seekers or something like that. So I feel as if like when we miss out on the trials and the testing that God has put in our lives, we also miss out on how to you know, be equipped if that situation was to rise again within a relationship. Because then if you've never experienced that, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. But you do if you went through the testing that the Lord was giving you.
That's,
you know,
that's a video. You know, going through rejection on all sides. On all sides.
That's serious. Okay, so Uche, what actually